Okay, so you see the thumbnail, so you know this is the debut for the 125-gallon Malawi River Aquarium. But this week's video was supposed to be on Predator Bay and the incident in Predator Bay behind me, but I kept expanding the video, and I want to show you stuff going on in the other salt tank, so it's becoming a much bigger, much longer video, and I'm just not done yet. So I thought, well, rather than wait, let's go ahead and debut the Malawi River Aquarium out of order. And then we'll get back to this tank, or get back to the marine side of the house, probably later this week. This is probably going to be a 2-video week. And then we'll jump back into the double rebuilds, part 2. And that will definitely focus mostly, well, almost entirely on the 220-gallon flooded forest build, because we're going to show you the 125 Malawi River Aquarium right now. Before I get into the whole debut of the Malawi River Aquarium, I think I want to feed these guys again, because it's so much fun to feed these guys, and I think it warrants more than just once in the video. So let's get them some spirulina flake and let these guys go to town. Just the way they go after the food, it reminds me of like how dogs or cats always running for, like, always darting, you know, like you know, you go from room to room. Your dog always wants to beat you, your cat beat you there, run in front of you. That's how these guys hit the food. They don't just, you know, casually go up and eat it. They're like attacking it, you know. It's very cool. I don't know that I'd ever get tired of watching these guys feed, and I can definitely see the appeal to the African cichlids, specifically these Malawi guys, or I'm sorry, but Mbuna guys. Just the way they go after it, it's a lot of fun. All right, well, let's get into the debut of the Malawi River tank. Okay, like I said, the 125 would come along quickly, and here it is. Welcome to the new 125-gallon Malawi River Aquarium. That's right. I said river, not lake. So you got to work with me here on this one. This is a melding of two environments in Eastern Africa that are in reality 500 or 1,000 miles apart, but in my basement they've come together. So what have we brought together? We've brought the river, the Turkana River, which has Turkana jewel cichlids like this guy over here, and where they normally, that river connects to a Lake Turkana, but in my basement it connects to a Lake Malawi. And some of these Malawi Mbuna cichlids have found their way into the river and merged with those beautiful Turkana jewels. So we get a chance to see Malawi cichlid and Mbuna in a little bit different environment, with obviously with tree root and plants. Now you're going to see that these plants, some of these are new, but some of these were moved over from the 220. So we're going to be rehabbing them in here. So this, like all the aquariums, this one's going to mature and it's going to look a lot better over time as we fix these beat down plants. So what do we have in here? We obviously have the Turkana jewels, but we also have a group of 6 different species of Malawi cichlid, and I'm essentially new to keeping these guys. I kept them once when I was in high school as a teenager in a 30-gallon with, you know, it was just a mess. It didn't go well. So it's really like I'm starting from scratch right now with these. So along with, you know, I need to learn all of the names of these fish. We all know the electric labs, they're easy. But as far as the other guys, I did the research when I ordered them to make sure that they would coexist together. I did get them in small groups, and of course, I believe I've created a habitat that is well suited to creating separation, both the visual separation with the fish and give them plenty of territory, plenty of caves. There's another Turkana jewel over there. Now, again, these are all baby fish, so they're going to come a long ways. They're going to look a lot different when they get larger. They're going to color up. The adult, in fact, honestly, for their size, I feel like their colors are actually pretty darn good. But they're going to get a lot more colorful and a lot more beautiful as they get older. And most of these fish are going to end up in that 4-inch range, you know, possibly as high as 6 inches, but that's about it. So while it may look a little sparse now, there is the appropriate amount of fish for this size tank at their adult size, as well as Mbuna. You know, they're notorious breeders, many cichlids are, so well, I'm sure they will fill in anywhere where I've left a gap in space in this aquarium. So they're going to be growing in, and the plants are going to be growing in, so it's got a long ways to go with this. But one thing I can tell you about these guys is literally it took about 15 minutes, these guys being in the aquarium, and it was like they've been here their whole lives. It's amazing how quickly they take to their environment, and really the thing that endears them to me is, like, when you feed them, they are such aggressive feeders, and I don't mean with each other, but I mean with the food, and just the way they come to you, you know, it's definitely, I can see where a lot of people are addicted to the African cichlids, because they definitely do have, you know, personality in spades, you know, especially when it comes to feeding. The other thing I want to point out is that so there's a couple reasons we can go ahead and get all of the fish at one time. For one, this aquarium was already running, so it was quick to reboot it. You know, we had our bacteria, and we had other aquariums here to keep swapping water and filter material back and forth to keep the nitrogen cycle going. And the other thing is I wanted to add all of the fish at one time so they all grow up together, because obviously African cichlid are, you know, infamous for their aggression, which can occur if they're kept in the wrong environment and the wrong stocking levels. It can get really bad. So we're going to try to circumvent all those problems by taking the measures we've taken, stocking the tank all at once, getting them all juveniles together, and creating a habitat which should give them lots of visual sight breaks and territory and places to, you know, recluse, caves, you know, little places to get away from the other fish if they need to. But, you know, one thing to talk about how awesome it is feeding these guys, let me go ahead and put some food in there and let's check it out. Okay, we're going to do some spirulina flakes, and they're going to get pushed over because this is a river aquarium. We have both of the returns over here on the right, and they're pushing that water all the way across to the left of the aquarium. That's giving us our beautiful shimmer, but that's also going to push the food everywhere within the aquarium. And so this is spirulina flake. These guys are primarily herbivores, so probably about 80% of their diet should be vegetable matter, and then 20%, you know, anything else, you know, bug bites or meaty preparations. Like I said, they just how they all go after the food and how they don't mind. These fish have been in this aquarium for a week and a half, you know, and I could have done this, you know, day two, where I'm here filming these guys feeding, and it's no big deal. I'm not frightening them at all. You know, they're not intimidated by me here or the camera. They're just focused on the food, and just the way they not so much strike at the food, but just the aggressive feeders. You know, it's just really nice seeing them go after it. You know, there's not going to be any leftovers, and then quite honestly, when they're done eating it out of the water column, these guys will be down there, you know, checking the substrate for anything that's left over, or, you know, anything they missed, and that's also really nice too. And another thing is the substrate. I mixed that sand with the Eco Complete was in there, and as these guys pick at it, you see more and more of the Eco Complete shining through, so giving that substrate a much more mottled look. So that's pretty cool, and just over time with these guys doing their thing, that's just going to continue to happen. But yeah, very, very fun to feed fish, and honestly, very fun aquarium for me to watch. A lot of activity. These guys are small, I would say 1.5 inches, and I'm enjoying it this much at this size. I can't imagine when they get a little bigger, because this is the tank that's closest to my desk. It's the one I look over at the most, and yeah, it's been very enjoyable. So I'm definitely looking forward to these plants growing in as well as these fish growing in. I think this tank has got some serious potential. The other thing we're focusing on in this aquarium is the shimmer. So we have the Kessels on this aquarium, and we know that I did one of the tops with the hole in it, and people commented that, you know, hey, why not cut out a bigger hole and put a very thin piece of, you know, super thin acrylic, so there'll be no structure, it'll just be for to keep the water evaporation. And I was like, that's a really good idea, and that is something I am going to try. So for right now, I'll go with this. As you can see, only one of the tops is on right now. I'm sort of comparing. So here is no top at all. There's the shimmer of the aquarium. You know, here's going through the hole, there's the shimmer. You can see less, because I can actually see on the left and right more shimmer than the middle. So, and then of course, you know, there's no top over here, so we have the full shimmer effect. So the goal is to maintain the full shimmer on this aquarium, but also have covers. So I am going to try that hybrid approach where I take the twin wall polycarbonate, I cut a much larger hole, and I put a very, very, very thin piece of acrylic over it, in a larger hole at that. Something, you know, more like from here to here, since this is the strength of the top, and the little piece of clear acrylic we put in there will just be for evaporation, so it won't have any structural concerns. We don't need to go thick on it. And see how that works, because you know, I have a lot of tanks. I can't afford to run them open top, as nice as that would be. It'd be a lot more water top offs, and it would be having my dehumidifier working overtime. So we can't do that. But my expectation is that these guys will grow fairly quickly. So looking forward to doing, you know, an update video sooner than later on this, and see if we can show some growth in the fish and in the plants, as well as I do plan to add possibly some catfish and some loaches with these guys. So not necessarily, well, I don't know, they're similar species both in East Africa and parts of Asia, but not exactly the same. We'll see what I can source, but you know, I'll try to stay true to the build as much as possible. But we all know this is a bit of a fictional build anyways, because they're, you know, I don't know. There may be a tributary that connects to Lake Malawi that is similar to this, but you know, I certainly do not know that firsthand. I'm just speculating, you know. But I do know there is one similar to this in Lake Turkana there. So it is conceivable that you could have this situation where some of the smaller lake fish would gravitate towards a heavily vegetated stream to provide them more cover from the larger, you know, haps swimming around in the lake that would see these guys as food. Also, keep in mind, we already had the established sump system, so that's why sometimes we call this the 125/180, because there's, you know, easily a 65, 70 gallon sump on this guy, and it's basically just the moving bed filter where the water drains down, and there's a pump pushing air through diffusers into that chamber with the K3 media K1 media mixing around. It goes through the pads, the Metalamat, and then just goes into a very large section of the ceramic block. It's just the Hydro ceramic block, which I use all over the place. Gives us two types, because of the design of it. As the water passes through and oxygen is utilized by the bacteria, you do have crevices deep in there that have they create tiny little anoxic zones. You got to keep in mind that water is coming through, it's oxygenated, it gets used, it's deoxygenated, and it gets replaced by other water. So it's continually happening, and it just runs through, and then it's just returned to the aquarium up over here. Then I just combine that with a gyre pump to create that water flow across the whole aquarium. So one thing I'm finding is I enjoy the long view of this aquarium, and I'm thinking we need to do some underwater footage for this video. I think these guys would definitely be up for it, not shy away from the camera, and we'll get a better view of what's going on inside the Malawi jungle stream. Actually, Malawi River Aquarium. So it's only the beginning with the Malawi River Aquarium. It's only been a few weeks. I'm really enjoying the tank, really enjoying the fish, but we know there's a long ways to go. It's the ecosystem style aquarium. There's a lot of plant rehab to happen, plants growing in, fish growing up, fish addition. So plenty of things to come with this aquarium, but it is off to an amazing start, a great start. It's awesome to be able to take a tank, take the contents out of it, put them into the 600 gallon, and then get this thing started right back up without losing a beat, without losing the biological and everything. Definitely really cool. Long ways to go, and I don't know if I can really express anymore that I'm really enjoying these Mbuna so far. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. We know the horror stories, the aggression, everything, so we'll see if I got it right or if I have to make adjustments. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.